Okay, should we start here?
Ready for action.
Okay.
Estamos listos, todos.
Muy bien. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Janaballabha Girivara Dori.
Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradari.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
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 Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradari.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana.
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Shri Radha Madhava Astasaki ki Jai.
Jai.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Nayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Ram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Udirayat.
Tato Jayam Udirayat.
Idam Bhagavata Nama.
Idam Bhagavatam Nama.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam.
Uttama Shloka Charitam.
Uttama Shloka Charitam.
Bhagavan Chakaram Bhagavan Rishi.
Chakaram Bhagavan Rishi.
Shraya Shraya Lokasya.
Shraya Shraya Lokasya.
Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. It was composed by the great sage Vyasa in the maturity of his realization. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Jai. Wow. And we're here when to look at it. Srimad Bhagavatam with elaborate purports and commentaries. I guess it's kind of elaborate purports and transliteration. Performed parampara by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
All right.
Wow. Okay. That's last week's verse. I didn't get it. Yes. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:32-26. Jnanamatram param brahma.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Param atmeshvara puman.
Paramātmā puman.
Drishya adibhi pratag bhavayar. Bhagavan eka iyate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Maholiye.
Jnanamatram parang brahma. Jnanamatram param brahma. Paramātmēśvara puman.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Jnanamatram parang brahma.
Jnanamatram parang brahma.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Bhagavan eka ityate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Jnanamatram parang brahma.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Jnanamatram param brahma.
Paramātmēśvara puman.
Paramātmēśvara
Paramātmēśvara
puman.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Drishyādibhi pratakbhāvāyar.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Bhagavan eka iyate.
Okay. Jnana,
Jnana,
knowledge.
knowledge.
Matram,
Matram.
only.
Only.
Param,
Param.
transcendental.
Transcendental.
Brahma,
Brahma.
Brahman,
Brahman.
Paramātmā,
Paramātmā.
Paramātmā,
Paramātmā.
Ishvaraha,
Ishvara.
the controller.
The controller.
Puman,
Puman.
super soul.
Super soul.
So that the purport's going to be extremely based on simply translating, interpreting, illuminating the Sanskrit. So all these words, such as Puman, being the super soul, might be open to argument by others. So we'll see what our acharyas say. Drishadibihi.
Drishyādibhi.
Yeah. By philosophical research and other processes.
By philosophical research and other processes.
Pritak bhavai.
Pratakbhavai.
According to different processes of understanding.
According to different processes of understanding.
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Ekaha.
Eka.
Alone.
Alone.
Iyate.
Iyate.
Is perceived.
Is perceived.
Jnana matram param brahma paramātmēśvara puman drishyādibhi pratak bhavair bhagavan eka iyate. Okay. In translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge. But according to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramātmā, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as the puruṣa-avatāra. Okay, please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone
is complete transcendental knowledge.
Is complete transcendental knowledge.
But according to the different processes of understanding,
according to different processes of understanding,
he appears differently.
He appears differently.
Either as impersonal Brahman,
either as impersonal Brahman,
as Paramātmā,
as Paramātmā,
as the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
as the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
or as the puruṣa-avatāra,
or as the puruṣa-avatāra.
Okay, let me see here. Maybe we just can look back at the previous verses a little bit. Let's try and switch over to the, our friend here, the database.com, which we sponsor, by the way. I gotta keep putting in it's sponsored by NEOS, the North American Institute for Oriental and Classical Studies. Okay. And we want to go to what? We want to go to the third canto. Yes, we do. We want to go to chapter, I think, 32. Yes, try again. And give it a hit. Okay. And let's go ahead and, my gosh, there it is, too big. Okay. Radhi. I would have prepared for this before, but this purport is so big that it's taken me the entire time just to get it going. Yeah. Okay. So this chapter, of course, is entitled Entanglement and Fruitive Activity. And, okay. And then if we go to advanced view, then we can go to just translations. Okay. And we look for Control F, 20. Okay. This is about where we were. No, it's where we were last week. Yeah. Okay. Escape. Okay. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the planet called Pitriloka by the southern course of the sun, but they again come back to this material planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities from birth to the end of life. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet, just as persons raised to a higher position sometimes all of a sudden falls. My dear mother, I therefore advise you to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for his lotus feet are worth worshipping. Accept this with all devotion and love, for thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. Engagement in Krishna consciousness and application of devotional service unto Krishna make it possible to advance in knowledge and detachment as well as self-realization. Jnana and Vairagya. These must be tremendous themes in all the Vedas. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. Because of his transcendental intelligence, the pure devotee is equipoised in his vision and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior, and he feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge, but according to different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramātmā, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as the puruṣa-avatāra. Okay. The greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. Those who are adverse to the transcendence realize the Supreme Absolute differently through speculative sense perception, and therefore because of mistaken speculation, everything appears to be relative. Okay. So very, very nice, incredible, perspective. The Lord has been describing the material nature. Upanishad, of course, says we have to develop knowledge of the spiritual world and knowledge of the material world simultaneously to really be fixed and pushed and attracted to become purified and go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah. Okay, so now we're talking about the different realizations one may have. Yeah. And the purport, I guess maybe we'll finish the purport today here. The words drishya adibihi, the word drishya adibihi is significant. According to Jiva Goswami, drishi means jnana. So we say darshan, the sad darshan, the 6 darshans, Advaitavad, Shuddhadvaita, Advaita, So drishya, darshan, means jnana. Philosophical research. By different processes of philosophical research under different concepts, such as the process of jnana yoga, the same Bhagavan, or Supreme Personality of Godhead, is understood as impersonal Brahman. Again, philosophers such as Alfred North Whitehead, the Santana Professor of Philosophy from Harvard University, the guru of Bertrand Russell, Nobel laureate. Very nice person, what I've read. He said, there is no inevitability as long as we are willing to contemplate the present. So he was affirming there was always a reality like that. And like other Walt Whitman, other people, we can see these people who are quite respected and appreciated and who are inspiring, to hear them. But they've come to this position of at least that there is a reality, Similarly, by the Eightfold Process, he appears as Paramātmā. Okay, then we can see how the transcendence is manifest. Everywhere are his hands, his legs. We start to see the trees, and we begin to realize the trees also have hands and legs and tongues and mouths and throats, and how they're just embracing the earth. It becomes quite an organic experience. But in pure, and maybe then we're talking about Carl Jung, people like that. But in pure Krishna consciousness or knowledge in purity, pure Krishna consciousness or knowledge in purity, when one tries to understand the absolute truth, one realizes him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we come to Vasudeva Sattva, pure goodness, that gives birth to Vasudeva gives birth to Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Person. And of course, this right away echoes the verse, and maybe even this is a guiding perspective for Prabhupada and our Acharyas. 1-11, it's right in the very beginning, same idea. Vadanti tat tattva vedas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmati paramātmati bhagavan iti sabdate. It's the same theme. Okay. And Prabhupada says, the transcendence is, in the purport, the transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. The transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. So we can realize the transcendental atmosphere. We can realize to Paramātmā, someplace else, another verse was talking about the yoga system. Can't remember where that is. Maybe it's Narada's instructions. And the purport probably goes through a long description of all the different levels. And he said basically Brahman and Paramātmā can be realized just by introspection, logical viewing the things, but Bhagavan requires descending knowledge. The transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. The words used here, Paramātmā, Ishvara, Puman, are all transcendental, and they refer to Supersoul. It doesn't say the Supersoul, it says Supersoul, you noticed, which is kind of impersonal. It's like a substance, like molasses or peanut butter. They refer to peanut butter, to Supersoul. Supersoul is also described as Purusha, but the word Bhagavan directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of 6 opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different spiritual skies. And the word sky, of course, to us, it means like what we have here, where there's pollution, Los Angeles smog or snow, this and that. But what is using here to us as the understanding is ether. And it's just the mathematical concept. If you look at if you look at geometry, it's just unlimited how much they've expanded it. And then you see them saying things like, geometry space. Space is simply that which is there to accommodate other things, rectilinear space, polar space, what's it called, hyperbolic space, Norman-Riemann space. And with these, you can organize different things like that, so on. And so it's a very fundamental philosophical concept. So there are different spiritual skies, different spiritual spaces, where Krishna is the personality of Godhead. Okay. The various descriptions of Paramātmā, Ishvara, and Puman indicate that the expansions of the Supreme Godhead are unlimited. The various descriptions indicate that the expansions of the Supreme Godhead are unlimited. Wow. Ultimately, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept Bhakti Yoga. By executing Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, one has to eventually approach the Bhakti Yoga platform. And then Paramātmā, Ishvara, Puman, etc. are all clearly understood. Again, somebody may look at some piece of metal, very highly formed piece of metal. Okay, what is it? Then you begin to understand. What's the word? Even another one, a very famous one, is for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of the horseshoe, the horse became lame and couldn't fight. And for want of that one fighter, the battle was lost. For loss of the battle, the kingdom was lost. So it all comes down to one nail. There's no such thing as a small part in the drama. There are just small actors. So we begin to realize without Bhagavan Ishvara, without Bhagavan perspective, we can't really understand what is Brahman or what is Paramātmā. We just can't understand them really. Like the other side of the coin is that devotees, because we're more inclined to the Bhagavan realization, sometimes have a hard time realizing what Paramātmā is. It's not transcendental. The Paramātmā, the puruṣa-avatāra, lacks rasa. It lacks 6 opulences. It is recommended in the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that whether one is a devotee or fruitive actor or liberationist, if he is intelligent enough, he should engage himself with all seriousness in the process of devotional service. Of course, you always want to look these up, but we didn't have time to do this one. akama, sarvakama va, akama, sarvakama va, moksha kama, udaradi, tevrena, bhakti yogena, yajate puruṣam param. So second canto, I can probably identify even the chapter. It's going to be the second chapter is Bhagavan Paramātmā. Maybe the third chapter. And that's where the incarnations are also being described again. So he's described all the incarnations. And then he says, akama sarvakama va, moksha kama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena, vijate puruṣam param. Whether you want to worship this demigod or this demigoddess, you want to become steady in your political position, worship the horizon. In any case, whether you have all desires or you're free from them, or you want to be free from them, then you should worship the puruṣam param. It is also explained. I couldn't quite figure that one out. Okay, it is also explained that whatever one desires, which is obtainable by fruitive activities, even if one wants to be elevated to the higher planets, can be achieved simply by execution of devotional service. This is okay, we'll go on here. Since the Supreme Lord is full in 6 opulences, he can bestow any one of them upon his worshipper. And we keep thinking of guy. There's some guy is married and takes his new bride home there to the nice wedding suite, and she's sitting there writing down some things, and he looks at her and says, "Well, what are you doing, my dear?" She says, "I'm writing the contract." He said, "What contract?" She says, I agree to help you satisfy your carnal lust 3 times a month, but in exchange I want a 5-bedroom house, a car, and I want us to go on a nice vacation every 3 years to Europe. Okay. So this is approaching Krishna. I'll chant my rounds nicely. I'll follow the 4 principles, but I'm allowed to sleep in twice a week, and I'll only eat prasadam, but I want good prasad. Okay, So Krishna can do this. Since the Lord is full of 6 opulences, he can bestow any one of them upon the worshipper. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead reveals himself to different thinkers as the Supreme Person, or impersonal Brahman, or Paramātmā. Thinkers. I guess some people don't think. They don't. Mostly they just feel, react. Probably most people. Impersonalists merge into the impersonal Brahman. Bang, bang, bang. But that is not achieved by worshipping the impersonal Brahman. Italics, ours. This shocked us. But that is not achieved by worshipping the impersonal Brahman. Okay, you can't merge in by worshipping the Brahman. If one takes to devotional service, and at the same time desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord, he can achieve that. How do we find that amongst devotees? Well, sometimes in kirtan, people get into very beautiful, sweet, melodious kirtans. I think, some different people, here they're very famous kirtan leaders, bhajan leaders. Not of course, they're not in ISKCON, but they'll chant any name, and it becomes very slow. They'll start off with just playing the harmonium and maybe sing Om, like that, and it's very intoxicating. And eventually they'll be chanting, Om Namo Shivaya, Om Namo Shivaya, and some celestial sense gratification. But then different groups, for example, I've heard descriptions of vipassana meditation, which is you have to sit, and I don't know if you can sit in a dark room or not, but then you have to just let go of the ideas. Let them go. Let them go. Do a long sit. and some idea then, of merging into the impersonal Brahman, which has no pain, no suffering. If one takes to devotional service and at the same time desires to emerge into the existence of Supreme Lord, he can achieve that. They're worshiping the deity every day, on time, everything else, because it gives me liberation. If someone desires at all, Prabhupada says, to merge into the existence of the Supreme, he has to execute devotional service. Even when I was studying karate, for example, they're talking about the different moves and this and that, and they said, yeah, but none of this stuff, works without dedication. So even there, they're talking about mystical powers, these activities, dedication. You have to ultimately be dedicated to Gyan, be dedicated to Dhyan, which is bhakti. The devotee can see the Supreme Lord face to face, but the jnani, or empiric philosopher, and the yogi cannot. Empiric philosopher. So empiricism is direct perception. Empiric knowledge is knowledge by direct perception. And interestingly, in the previous times, it was considered a kind of like a sarcastic comment. Oh, he's an empiricist. But now it's become a source of glorification. So philosopher then means is understanding of Prabhupada saying, you take, another way to describe it is rational empiricism. You take direct experience, and then you use different logical processes such as grammar, arithmetic, algebra, calculus, mathematics, to then multiply your knowledge like that. 1 gulab jamun is good. 2 gulab jamun is better. Therefore, 51 gulab jamuns is really good. Yes. The devotee can see the Supreme Lord face to face. Face to face. Got that? Yeah, I got it. Okay. But the jnani, or empiric philosopher, and the yogi cannot. They cannot be elevated to the positions of association of the Lord, of associates of the Lord. There is no evidence in the scriptures stating that by cultivating knowledge or worshiping the impersonal Brahman, one can become a personal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, do you know that? Do I know that? But basing ourselves on the potency of Srila Prabhupada, who is delivering Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati to us, the time, the place, the circumstance, 1838, 1896, 1901, the British Raja, great, powerful Brahmins, impersonalists, yogis living on milk, been having read all the Vedas, and having heard from people who they've questioned intensely, whose value they know, have read all different Puranas and Itihasas and Upanishads. So this is a statement which we're making with strong conviction. There is no evidence in scriptures stating that by cultivating knowledge or worshiping Brahman, one can become a personal associate of the Lord. Nor by executing the yogic principles can one become an associate of the personality of Godhead. So the previous process is looking at the scriptures. This process is taking their investigative method and investigating whatever is available through that source. We can investigate prana. We can investigate all these things by the yogic process. Impersonal Brahman, being formless, is described as adrishya. Before we had drishya yat, there's no darshan, because the impersonal effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti covers the face of the Lord. Some yogis see the four-handed Vishnu sitting within the heart, and therefore, in their case, also, the Supreme Lord is invisible. Okay. Only for the devotees is the Lord visible. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tattvam puruṣa-avatāra satya dharmaya drishyate. So this is a little hard for us, but we're understanding here is that, like, we had this interesting picture of Prabhupada, is that Prabhupada is there, but he's being covered by kind of like a bright effulgence, so it's difficult to see, to see him. So the yogis see four-handed Vishnu sitting within the heart, but they can't see him as the Supreme Lord. That his opulences are covered. Prabhupada says Brahma, Shiva, and impersonal Vishnu. The Garbhodaksha Vishnu is impersonal Vishnu. Many times without his six opulences. I told you this purport is long. My goodness. Here the statement Drishyadibihi is significant, since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is both invisible and visible. There are different features of the Lord. The Paramātmā feature and Brahman feature are invisible, but the Bhagavan feature is visible. In the Vishnu Puran, this fact is very nicely explained. Okay, not just the Bhagavad Puran. The universal form of the Lord and the formless Brahman effulgence of the Lord, being invisible, are inferior features. The concept of the universal form is material, and the concept of impersonal Brahman is spiritual, but the highest spiritual understanding is the personality of Godhead. The Vishnu Purana states, Vishnur Brahma Svarupena Swayameva Vyavastitaha. Wow. Vishnur Brahman Svarupena Swayameva Vyavastitaha. Brahman's real feature is Vishnu, or the supreme Brahman is Vishnu. Swayameva, that is his personal feature. Brahman's real feature is Vishnu, or the Supreme Brahman is Vishnu. Swayam Eva, that is his personal feature. The Supreme Spiritual Conception is the personality of Godhead. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Yad Gatva Nanivartante Tadama Paramātmā. That specific abode called Paramātmā is the place from which once one attains it, one does not return to this miserable conditional life. Shaknati haivaya sodun prak shavira vimokshanat kama krodhor bhavan vegam sayukta susukhi naraha. Before giving up his present body. Oh, that's a different one. I'm sorry. Yeah, different verse. It's 8:21. Yeah. Okay, show it to us. All right, I'll do that. Okay, let's go here. We switch over here, and we erase the things to Srimad Bhagavatam and put in BG/8/21. See if that does it. Okay, and we hit a control, a couple pluses. Okay, there we go. Avyakto krara iti uktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante tadama paramam mama. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifested and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. And of course, this echoes the previous verses about once having gone there, one does not return. Every place, every space, everything belongs to Vishnu. That's nice, huh? Every place, every space, everything belongs to Vishnu. But where he personally lives is Ta Dhamma Paramam, his supreme abode. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. Okay. And this is, of course, in the site of Govardhan. I think it's the site of Govardhan, maybe. Yeah. And the beautiful white cows of Raja. Still, some ashrams, some people maintain the cows very nicely like this. In big herds, like that and so on. Yeah. Okay. So, muchas gracias a todo el mundo. Hay preguntas o comentarios o quejas. Are there questions, comments, or complaints?
I'm working on it.
Yo tengo una pregunta, señor.
Okay, we're getting echo through Rama's cell.
Sí,
okay.
Mucho ruido.
Narahari.
Hare Krishna.
Half man, half lion.
Mostly man, fallen man.
Okay.
You mentioned, I guess I never really thought of it this way. When you spoke, you were breaking down in Paramātmā, Brahmeti Paramātmā Bhagavati Shabdite, Brahman, Paramātmā Bhagavan. You mentioned in a very impersonal way, you said, when you're speaking of Paramātmā, you said, it doesn't have 6 opulences. So I wanted you to elaborate, because I guess I never thought of, I always thought of Super Soul as, or Paramātmā. This is Kshiradakshai Vishnu, who's entered into everywhere. He's really pervaded the material world, within the atoms, between the atoms, and most importantly in the heart as Chaitya Guru. So help me understand a little bit more about Paramātmā. I thought that Paramātmā was, unlimitedly beautiful and complete in knowledge, because he's there to give knowledge, matakshmitir jnanam aponancha. So tell me a little bit more about, maybe there's different ways of understanding Paramātmā, but I wanted you to speak a little bit more on that subject, because it seemed different than I personally think of Paramātmā.
Okay, since you asked. Yeah.
Respuestas, por favor.
Challenging for me. I would say that the one best way to approach it from my comprehension, from my logic, is the verse, what is the word?
Chintamani purpose.
No, it's another one. Premanjana. Yeah.
That's very personal.
Yeah. So how does it go?
Premanjana Pacharita Bhakti Valochanena Santakshadaiva Hridayeshu Valokiyanti Yang Shaima Sundara Achinta Guna Svarupam Govindam Aripurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valochanena Santakshadaiva Hridayeshu Valokiyanti Yang Shaima Sundara Achinta Guna Svarupam Govindam Aripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Hridayeshu. So this is the point, that a devotee, he sees in his heart Shama Sundar. Yeah. So again, the example, like, I'm beating on you with a stick, and you say, why are you beating me with that stick? And I say, I am not beating you. The stick is beating you. So somebody who's intoxicated, even drinking too much, he's starting to choke the bartender to death. And some, Miami cop is called for, and the big guy runs and he can't pull the other big guy off, and he's about to choke the bartender to death. The bartender's tongue is sticking out, is turning black. And so he just starts whacking on the guy with his club, with his head, on the guy's head. And the guy, finally comes to his senses. Oh, something's happening to my senses. Yeah. What is that? It hurts. Won't stop. Hey. Then he begins to realize, what is it? There's a stick beating on me. There's an arm attached to the stick. The stick has a uniform on it. And he sees the guy in front of him, and he lets go, and he grabs the police officer and just embraces him and says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." Yeah, thank you for beating me. Because he knows the guy might survive, bartender might survive now, and he may get 1 year for aggravated assault, but he's not going to become a murderer. It's the same way is that a Paramātmā body, he sees, Prabhupada says, form direction. It's like this, it's like that. These things are connected. Everybody has mouths and drinks. The trees have these roots. They're drinking. And so you walk around, and we take a walk every night when they go to sleep pretty much. And I'm looking at the trees, and I'm realizing that below the surface are all the roots. So then your perception, your template behind your view of the world begins broaden, and you start to, some of the roots are sticking up, and you can see how they're broad and going here and there, and redwoods don't have broad roots, they're deep roots, tap roots. So then you start to experience the world with everywhere there are people drinking, But if you don't know, have a Bhagavan realization, that's all you know, So there's no personal relationship there. There's no rasa with the Paramātmā. But a devotee, that's why I'm saying it's difficult for us, because we automatically see Yanshama Sundaram. We see him behind everything. He's the guy behind it with the beautiful form and the features. And then we maybe even see like, wow, this is, Krishna's expanding like this because Krishna himself is accepting the beautiful offerings of water or something from the cowherd boys in their hands when he's thirsty or something like that. Yeah. So that's my comprehension.
That's nice. I guess it's all kind of similar to like the deity form. I mean, the deity, according to our level of advancement, Krishna says in the Gita, ye yatamang prapajante tang satava vajamyaham, that to whatever degree we're surrendering to that degree, he is revealing himself. So it's kind of very much like, I guess, the deity.
There is a non-devotee.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
There's a verse.
No, there is a verse specifically which I've gotten hot water for citing without saying it's Prabhupada's verse. Prabhupada says something about that he says the form of the deity is not eternal. Now, this, of course, is exactly what you're talking about. When the form we're seeing is a metal form, like this and that, doesn't move, this and that, and so forth, so on. Yeah, it's the form of the deity. It's form, but that form is not eternal. Prabhupada is saying, You get a little more advanced, then we begin to see it starts to soften up, starts to wink at us.
Right.
Hey,
dance.
Hey, what is that? Yeah. If you can talk, you can walk.
Right. Shakshi Gopal.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Hey, man. Oh, graps, you caught me. Yeah. That's kind of it, isn't it? If you can talk, Nama Rupa. If you can talk, you can walk. Yeah. So I guess Ramananda's cell phone maybe has some comment there. Complaint.
So sorry, because I was walking between rooms. I was wondering here, in the verse, it says, we've got Parang Brahma, Parameshvara, Paramātmā, and Puman. So the translation is, you can realize the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman, Paramātmā, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as a puruṣa-avatāra. So one of the puruṣa-avatars is the Super Soul. So I'm just thinking that here, when he's referring to the puruṣa-avatāra, is that the Virat that he's referring to, or are we talking about one of the, Karnadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu? Because already here we're talking about Paramātmā. So when he's talking about Puman, because there's two. One is Paramātmā, it's mentioned here, and then Ishvara, and then Puman, Supersoul. So is that the Supersoul manifested as the Virata that is referred to as the puruṣa-avatāra?
I do not know. Yeah.
You did mention in the purport about the Virat. One is impersonal Brahman, effulgence, that's spiritual, and the material is the Virat.
Virat, yeah. It also might refer to the puruṣa-avatāra, because sometimes back in the second canto, I think it was saying the puruṣa-avatāra then expands himself. The first expansion of the puruṣa-avatāra, and then the second expansion of the puruṣa-avatāra. So maybe talking about Mahavishnu, which, as far as I understand it, again, there's a verse, one section of the purport in Bhagavad Gita, where it's a citation, and it says, Trin, one who realizes these three purushas, which is liberated. So until you actually come to Paramātmā, to Mahavishnu, there's no rasa. Again, the Paramātmā is everywhere. He's all pervasive. How can you make clothes for him? How can you become his friend? He's so powerful and everything else. But when we come to Mahavishnu, then there's possibility of Shantaras. It's going again, like it's like Govinda prayers, and just never end. Govinda, keep on going and going, and with newer and newer. And the same way too, you can get into a kirtan like that. It just goes on and on, but it's still just Krishna is great, Yeah.
Can you allow me to speculate a little bit?
Oh, please, go ahead. A philosophical speculation.
Okay. Because one thing is that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he expands as a Virat. And then he also enters in as a supersoul of the universe. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, he's the Paramātmā that enters into all the atoms and to the hearts of all the living entities. So I was thinking that this is referring to the impersonal body of the Lord, the Virat. Not to contradict you, but I was thinking maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, you can't contradict me because that's what I didn't know. So I was all speculative. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Well, the verse says that the impersonal Brahman, Paramātmā, and Bhagavan is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. The way I understand it is that, Krishna is also impersonal, meaning formless, except that in the chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna warns about that, says, don't go there because, it is way too difficult to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead if you try to focus on the formless feature of God. So in other words, that it is true that God is formless. Krishna is formless as well, except that for the devotees, we don't really want to focus on that because then we would never find the end of it. It's just too difficult. To realize God just in a formless state is just not possible for us. So therefore we gotta focus on the personality of Godhead, on His features, on the fact that He has a three-pended form, that He plays the flute, that He wears a peacock feather, that He has intimate pastimes with His devotees. That is much easier for us to focus on. It is the inconceivable nature of God that is actually inconceivable, that by focusing on the personality of the Godhead, Bhagavan, that we can actually realize God without really focusing on the formless feature. I mean, it's just inconceivable, but that's the way it is. If you want to focus on the formless feature, then good luck. It could take you many, many lifetimes and a lot of austerities and penances, but still, we cannot deride people that want to go that path. That's their business, except that is a very difficult path and it's not recommended in the scriptures or anywhere. It would be a tremendous amount of energy just focusing on a meditation that is a formless energy out there in the sky. You You could. There is people that do that, but Krishna does not recommend that. Chapter 12, I believe, is verses 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Referring back to 332.8, talking about Hiranyagarbha. And this is perhaps another name. I think I've seen this also. I looked at it. It's another name for Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And in the purport, Prabhupada said, persons who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, do not directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha. How's that? For puruṣa-avatāra.
Yeah.
I have something to add. It's in the purport. I'm not making this up. You're really going to like this, Maharaj. Prabhupada quotes the Sanskrit for 15.6, Bhagavad Gita 15.6, which translates in the Macmillan Gita, that abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. And in the purport, Prabhupada echoes what's being said in the verse. He says that specific abode called Paramātmā is the place from which once one attains it, one does not return to this miserable conditional life. So then I looked at the purport of 15.6, and here's Prabhupada again. As soon as he reaches the spiritual sky by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. How's that?
I like
just reading Prabhupada.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just reading Prabhupada.
Okay. Please define chance.
He says there is no chance.
How would you define the word chance?
Oh, we're gonna get around it with free will. Is that the idea?
Weasel words, man.
No, I mean, I'm not speculating. I'm not speculating on this. I'm just taking it as it is.
Okay, I accept it. There's no chance of coming back. But it's interesting because it finishes off. It just says here what we got here, because it's also I pointed out it's in 523. I don't think it goes into so much detail about not coming back there. I think it's talking more about the desire. Yeah, was it 15 what? 15. 6?
That was 15.6. That okay. Sanskrit is in 15.6.
It's also here too, isn't it? No, I mean it's 821. I'll check 821 also. Yeah.
523. I don't think it's in.
No, 523 is not. 523. I made a mistake. That's the one that talks about the 6 pushes. 821 is, I think, also there.
But I think that Hanumatpresaka's point about the coming on chance is a very valid one, because there's always going to be that test. The so-called chance is, it has to be defined. What is the chance about? The chance is really that, well, if you are thinking that you're going on your way back to Godhead, there is always going to be a test. And so that's where the chance
comes.
Well,
you're basically, it's semantics. You're basically saying there is a chance. He's saying, Prabhupada's saying no chance. You're saying there is a chance.
Well, there is always a chance. Well, obviously, unless you find prema.
You're saying.
Unless you find
repeating
prema.
Prabhupada. I'm repeating Prabhupada. You can flip it any way you want. And you can say, well, Prabhupada says no chance, but there is a chance. There's a way.
Yeah.
Prabhupada's saying there's no way, but you're saying there is a way.
Well, you're saying that there is no chance means that there is no test. But it is said that once you reach prema, you cannot fall down. But then we come back to the discussion, I think it was yesterday, that Narahari Prabhu was bringing up, is why are we here? We were in the spiritual world. How come we fall down? Why are we here?
That's an assumption. That's an assumption on your part. We're in the spiritual world. That's not necessarily the case.
Jiva Dharma, Jiva Dharma, Jiva Dharma.
Right. Where Mahavishnu is populating the Mahatattva with his glance.
Yeah. It'd be kind of. Has anybody ever kind of like put all these arguments together in like a kind of a boy? It's when I started doing it, going through myself, because I don't care. I know. To me, it was kind of like I didn't really care, you know. So I started collecting the citations this way and that way, and I saw different citations, this and that. And at a certain point, I kind of gave up because there were so many citations. And again, my perspective, I think personally, was still that free will is there, and that's the only thing, you know. But again, this is my perspective, whatever else. But I was just, boy, it's such a, if you want to just take all the citations and everything else, it seems like it's a really big topic with a lot of different perspectives on it. You go on for a long time on it, a long time. Wow, speculation. But of course, the basic thing is, we'll just go there. Once you're there, you'll know. Yeah, I can if I want to. No, you can't. Sorry.
Yeah, Prabhupada brings up the point of the Kaka Chalya Nyaya, the Nyaya, the logic of the fallen tall fruit. Well, we discussed this before. There's the crow, Kaka. By the way, it's a very anamana poetic name of it. Yeah, Kaka. So the crow, Kaka Chalya Nyaya, the logic of the crow. So he's sitting on the branch, and he flies off. Two people down below notice the tall fruit falls, and they're trying to figure out what made it fall. One of them says it fell because it was ripe, and it fell, and as it fell, it scared the crow. The crow flew off then. So in other words, the fruit fell first, and then the other is that the crow flew off first, and his flying jostled the branch, which made it fall. But they'll never know. They could. So
there's a third guy there, though. What does the third guy do?
Who's the third guy? He's the crow, I guess.
Devotee. No, devotee.
Oh, the devotee, right. Well, devotee, yeah, right. So
the devotee comes along and picks up the fruit and eats it.
And offers it to Krishna. Doesn't need it. He offers it to Krishna.
Offers it to Krishna. There we go.
Right. So anyway, yeah, it's a little interesting.
Let us offer this argument into the Supreme Lord.
Yeah,
it becomes transcendental. Yeah, it becomes transcendental argument then. Yeah.
I was very fixed on the idea that we must have come from the spiritual world. And Mukunda Prabhu, when he was giving classes, he had some incredible points, and between him and Vidagda, they sort of swayed me the other direction. And so now I'm just completely open-minded about it and figure, well, all right, at least I'm not swayed to one way anymore. I guess I'm neutrally figuring it's not wasting our time with, but it's an interesting subject.
That's the example. We don't waste our time with it. But it is interesting that Prabhupada said both. Let's say both.
That's right.
Just to be clear.
You got me, Vidagda. You and Mukunda swayed me over, so now you got me at least in the middle. In a more balanced.
Any comments on any other points in the purport? Any other points in the purport? Anybody else wanted to talk about?
I had a question.
It's a great purport.
Okay. Oh God, big. It took me 1 hour to format it like that. It's not easy to format. Yes.
Yes. On the second, it's on the last page, and it says only for the devotees.
Can you talk? Can you talk? Your voice is a little bit high, and
can you hear me now?
Oh, now it's much better, much better.
Good, good. Okay. It says on page 435, only for the devotees is the Lord visible. So my question is, in the different stages of realization, how is the Lord visible to us? Could you elaborate on that?
Are you using your speakerphone on your phone?
No, I'm speaking directly into the phone.
Oh, okay, yeah. Only to devotees is the Lord visible, and then what's the last part?
That was the statement Prabhupada made. And so my question is, how, in the different stages of realization, how is he visible to us?
The realization of a devotee or realization of other people, like Gyanis and Paramātmā?
Of a devotee, how is he visible to us?
Ah, okay, well, the devotees are, like I say, three stages, right? Kanistha-adhikari, Madhyama-adhikari, Uttama-adhikari. So Kanistha-adhikari is seeing the statue in the temple, and he's seeing worship of statue in the temple as mixed up by his fruitive desires, by his desires for knowledge and these kind of things. And so when he goes out of the temple, he doesn't realize that the deity is the same. He doesn't see the deity in the heart of everybody. Vishnu Janan told us one time that after doing the full puja every day for Radha Damodar, then he could actually see Radha Damodar, how they were there, And of course, it's not like a little thing that you can cut open and take out. It's just their presence is understood to be there very clearly. I understand this is my wallet. How did you get it? Yeah. So that's how I think Kanistha-adhikari sees the deity as a separate physical manifestation, and if you're coming to Brahman and realizing that it's not like an ordinary thing. It's spiritual. The deity is spiritual. And a little higher. Then Madhyama-adhikari, again, the different levels of Madhyama-adhikari, but that can also come to the level of Paramātmā, and there you're beginning to see, that the deity is smiling sometimes, upset sometimes. You got to look closely, you meditate, you chant, contemplating, and you begin to get realization of the personal aspects, features, qualities like that. Like I've been doing this and that, and I have been getting up for Mangal Artik too regularly, and I go and chanting in front of the deities, and I'm looking at them, and they may be upset with me, and I'm a little ashamed, and I apologize, and or else they may be hurt, and stuff, and they're just like by my activities, and they feel really bad that I'm causing Krishna this distress, So Brahman, Paramātmā, then the features start to become manifest. Now, Nama, Rupa, Charit. That's what I would understand. And you go higher, then funny enough, then we can reciprocate with the features. Yeah.
I also found that part of the purport very interesting, is that some yogis see the four-handed Vishnu sitting within the heart, and therefore, in their case also, the Supreme Lord is invisible. And they're seeing a form, like you just mentioned, Rupa. That's interesting, meaning we're taking Bhagavan to the, Svayam Bhagavan, or, that Svayam Bhagavan may not be visible to them, but Vishnu, Krishna, that Prabhupada just conflates that. That's Vishnu Tattva. Krishna consciousness is Vishnu Tattva. It includes the incarnations, the puruṣa-avatāras, everybody. So that's interesting in this purport that the Lord is still invisible. It's not full. The Bhagavan conception is not there.
The word visible here too is being taken as darshi, right? Drishya, which is philosophical perspective, attitude, understanding, not just like sensuous perception, empirical perception, but because I see what you mean. So like that is they perceive him. Kapila already said you can perceive him, but there's no love. Yeah.
But for like Srila Prabhupada, he saw Krishna face to face. And the devotees asked him, is it like a TV, Prabhupada? No, I see him. So we have to be on that level in order to actually perceive him.
And some of the gopis
in any way than through the eyes of knowledge or scripture.
Yeah. Divya Chakshu. Wow.
Also, one of
course,
the
different
things
people,
you
Mother
said,
Yashoda sees something different when she sees Krishna than when Nanda Maharaj, or the gopis, or his friends see Krishna. They see differently.
Right.
He reveals himself according to our surrender and what our relationship is with him.
Yeah.
One of the things you said in the class, Maharaj, was the super soul lacks rasa. That kind of struck me. And the six opulences, well, the opulences in some way may be present, but the service attitude isn't there. It's more of it's just a worship attitude, or it's
on reverence,
something, and so the service attitude, serving the lotus feet, it doesn't seem to work with Paramātmā.
The Paramātmā doesn't have to have a form. It can still, you can perceive. Again, what's the name? What's the guy from Harvard? I mentioned Santana professor. Whatever his name was.
Hopkins?
Dimick?
Huh?
Dimick?
No. He's just from the Harvard. I mentioned he's Bertrand Russell's guru. Very nice person. Alfred North Whitehead. You can look him up on the YouTube, the YouTube, not the YouTube, the Wikipedia, or the Britannica. If you pay $50 a year. Anyway, his quote was, again, there is no inevitability as long as we are willing to contemplate the present. And I applied that in different situations, even before I became a devotee and stuff. And I see you just sit down and just contemplate what's going on, and eventually, you're not going to go to hell. You can always figure out some way. Mother Yashoda is turning the corner, and Krishna and Balaram, their pants are falling off. They're up on the grinding mortar with their hands in the yogurt pot. The monkeys are running away. That famous picture. It's this smoking gun right there. But you look at the picture, and there's a way out. You contemplate that picture of Mother Yashoda turning the corner with the stick, and Krishna and Balaram are up on the thing hiding around, just around the corner, one step more, and they're caught there with no pants, monkeys, and hands right in the yogurt pot on top of the mortar, But you just contemplate it, and you'll see there is a way out of that. So that's not just Brahman, that there is a reality. There is a reality. We're not going to die. There is a reality, If my boat sinks, it's but to another sea. That's Seneca, Seneca. When my boat sinks, it's just to another sea. I die. But then he's saying that you also will discover form, reality. Oh, this can go on, that can go on. So that's then the Paramātmā realization. Not only is there a reality, but it has forms. We've got to do this. Push here, do this, do that. And that's how the eternity will go on like that. So I got to go now myself. I'm being called by the sun god. It's 12:15 here. I still want to thank everybody. This Sangha is getting more and more potent, and everybody we're hearing from, from people from all over the universe, it seems like.
Well, thank you, Maharaj, very much.
Thank you
so much for giving class.
See you again next week.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol.